This is a video about how I process water with high amounts of iron in it and what I do different to deal with iron. Iron really sticks to things. So a water softener has resin in it and the resin will grab the iron, but the iron won't leave the water softener. So this is an old water softener that was in a high iron situation. I've cut the side open of it to look inside, and inside at the bottom there is the resin, and it's quite foul. The resin has a lot of iron staining on it. So typically what people used before was what they called a dip tube, and it's this tube right here, and it's got a thing at the bottom, and it would go right inside of here. You wouldn't see that, but it sits in the bottom of the resin, and when the water comes from the well, it comes into this part here, goes to the very bottom through the resin, and then the good water comes up this pipe. What in backwash, how it cleans itself is it sends the water down here in reverse with the salt. The water goes to the bottom and bubbles up and tries to remove the iron off of the bed, but it's just water going by iron. And if you've ever tried to take iron off of anything, iron staining, you don't just throw water at it. It takes a lot more than that to get iron off. So what I've done here is I've invented what I call an iron eater. And it's a physical way. So everything I explained so far was a chemical process of how we deal with iron with water softeners. There's other ways of doing it, but I'm talking about water softeners right now. And this is what I've developed, and it's an iron eater, or a physical way of eating the iron. So in this case, you can see I've got two tubes going to the bottom here. And that what this does different than the way everybody else does it is when it goes to backwash, the water still goes down this way. It goes right to the bottom, and it does a U-turn down there at the very bottom and shoots water up this small tube. And the water comes up this small tube and exits right here. There's a check valve in there. And when the water comes, it also brings the bed. So it actually physically takes the material that's in the bottom of that, and it brings it right up to here in the top where it shoots out of here. And then the other thing I do is I put a little bit of sand, I won't tell you the percentage because it's kind of a trade secret, but I put some sand in with the resin. And the sand has the ability, as it's coming up this pipe, the sand bumps into the resin. And I'll show you a picture of resin here in a minute, sand. The resin bumps into sand, and actually sand blasts the iron off of the resin to keep it clean. So this is a physical way. So we still have the original chemical process of how we deal with it. I've just added a physical way of trying to keep the bed clean, because anything will work for a certain amount of time. It's how long you can deal with the iron is the biggest challenge that people have when they have high iron. So over here, this is resin in here. Sorry about the video, guys, but this is resin. It's inside of here. Grab a little bit. This is brand new resin. It's kind of like, that's what it looks like when it's new. And you can see the stuff that was in that tank before was coated with iron. So there, I'll go in the sun, see if we can get so that's what resin looks like. And this is what old resin looks like that has staining in it. I use a different type resin, and it's here in this bag, and it's a resin that allows for, it tolerates more iron than normal city resin by a lot. Like the manufacturer says 10 parts per million it will handle. My experience is I wouldn't go to 10 parts per million with it. And it depends on other chemistry of the water too. It depends on the amount of hardness. There's all kinds of variables in the water of how different resins will work and how well they won't work. I pay more money for that resin, so it should work better. Anyway, that's a short video on how I deal with resin and water softeners. It's different for iron filters, but I'll talk about that another time. Thanks.